Let's get it rocking and rolling. We got Coach G's Radical Man Show, and we got one heck of a topic for you guys today. Daily dominance. You guys who are on my group call, you've heard me talk about this. Guys that I've coached, you've heard me talk about this. This is probably one of the, probably like up there with like the top 5 lessons I've ever gotten from the men that have coached me. So I'm going to give it to you guys how I got it, and hopefully you'll take it and be able to run with it. But for now, let's get these shares out. Yo! Loving the likes already. You guys are getting the hang of this thing. Can you believe it, guys? Episode 13. What? Scotty! Thanks for the share, brother. I saw that. Man, I swear, if I could make this like my walking soundtrack whenever I was just walking down the street, Scott, I'd be on it, bro. And yes, not trying to impress anybody. I just got done with a great workout, so you probably still see the sweat beating up and all that kind of stuff, man. But that's part of the talk we're going to have today. A few more shares here. One more share here. I can work out to this, Scott. I don't know if I can go do the... Man, y'all distance runners always want to equate everything to running. You made me sweat even more just seeing you put that out, bro. Alright, guys. I think that's going to wrap up our shares. You already know that's my favorite part. Let's go ahead, pause. How we doing? How we doing? How we doing? Glad you guys are a part of the show today. And like I said, guys, I just got done with a great workout. Luckily, this video is not like scratch and sniff. Like, be thankful that technology ain't got to that point yet, and you're just going to look at a dude sweating right now. But what I want to make sure we talked about today is something that is really important. I mean, again, we have been building a lot of traction talking about how do we create this mindful environment. How do we step out of habit land? How do we get away from our habits, and how do we start changing our habits? How are we going to become more in tune with the day, more aware of the day, more aware of what we're doing in our involvement, more present with our triggers, thoughts, our actions, so that we can get out here and get the shit done right? So, the majority of the work we've been doing is talking about how do you practice mindfulness in the moment. How do you practice it when the crazy thoughts come around? How do you practice this, you know, when the triggers are just all the way around present with you, right? And now what I want to get you guys to do is kind of switch directions a little bit as we look at this, and we're going to talk about daily dominance. Now, I discovered daily dominance when I went and met my coach, Victor Bell, with the Champion Army. I'm telling you guys, he is worth the Google, he is worth the airfare, he is worth every bit of it. And I had a chance to understand daily dominance, and you know, kind of gets adopted a little bit differently based on each person, but I'm going to try to give it to you guys as best as I got it and how I'm able to kind of operate with this, right? So, again, daily dominance. And the title of it is almost pretty self-explanatory, right? How do we have an opportunity to be able to dominate daily? And here's the problem sometimes with that, guys, is that, quite frankly, we end up looking up in the middle of our day, at the end of our day, and then we got something like this, right? I don't even want to use that color right there, but we got to deal with what? I got a good brother of mine, and he'll always kind of rib me about like being self-employed, right? And he works a 9-to-5 job kind of deal. But one thing that I've always heard from people who are in that bit of a 9-to-5 grind, if you will, is how I hear the common piece of, I don't know when I have time to. I don't know when I had time to do this for myself. I don't know when I could address this for myself. I don't know when I could handle this for myself, right? And as you guys know, I'm all about being selfish, right? But understanding what healthy selfish is, though, right? How do we apply healthy selfish in our life? And here's how we want to go about doing it, guys. It's really understanding daily dominance, right? Daily dominance. And we want to be able to do this without what? Without life jacking up. Now, does life go anywhere? No, it doesn't. Like, it's going to be whatever it's going to be, right? There's going to be distractions. The whole, I mean, heck, I got a fly buzzing around me right now that is distracting the heck out of me from what I want to actually get done right now, right? But that's what life is. It's full of tasks and meet points and goals, and then we got distractions along the way, and by the end of the day, we're looking up trying to measure, did I get done what I needed to get done? You know, and let's be honest about it. When we didn't get done what we need to get done, one of two things tends to happen. Either A, we want to justify it, right? I didn't get a chance to connect with my family today, or I didn't get a chance to, maybe have a great diet today. Why? Because I was working the whole day. I had to get that money. I got to make that check. So, I couldn't reach out to my loved ones today, and I couldn't pay attention to my body the way I would like to because of this. We want to be able to justify it. And then it's probably that's the vocal part. That's how we defend our actions, that justification. What really happens back here is that we're in our head saying, shit, why didn't I get that done? I got this done for everybody else. Why didn't I get that done? And here's what I've come to realize is that it's not the fault of the 9 to 5. It's not the fault of life. What I've realized is that we often enter the day, and you guys got to forgive me, right? My stand is messed up a little bit, but that'll never stop a show that we got going on. What we really have to understand about our days is this. We got to understand priorities. And with priorities, it's going to come with, well, what do we really value? And at the end of the day, a lot of people are willing to say, you know what, I value me 10 times more than my job, but the job is what got in the way of what you think got in the way of you doing what you had to do for you. You know what, I value myself 10 times more than, heck, maybe my friend, but we put these different pieces out as to why we didn't get done for us what we had to get done for us. Right? I mean, it's a whole lot of rationale that'll go into it, right? So let's talk about how we make this happen. How do we get control of our day? And here's the first key about this, guys. Here's the first key about this. Guys, this is a hard one for me. This is just a flat out hard one for me. Listen, my last name might be Morning, but please understand, I'm not a morning person at all. Like, if it was completely my ultimate choice, look, I would stay in the bed as long as possible. As long as possible. But here's the reality of it, guys. We got to learn how to meet the day and not let the day meet you. Because by the time the day is got you, think about it. You wake up, 9 times out of 10, most of us have our alarm set like for a good 10, maybe to 30-minute period before we got to really get out the house. Like, we wait till the last minute to get these things done, and we wake up and it's like, oh, I got to get everything done. And what happens is that you haven't picked out what you're going to dominate or how you're going to do it. You're simply making your checklist for life right now. Got to get up, let me get my teeth brushed. I got to hurry and get to work right now. Let me hurry and drop this off. And before you know it, you're caught up in the standards of the day instead of you bringing your standards to the day. That's what happens when you get a chance to meet the day. So what does that really mean, like in layman's term? Get your ass up early. You want to know how to start dominating your day? Well, you got to start by taking control of the day, and that means you got to get up. And I know it sucks. I know a lot of us don't want to do it, right? We're sitting here like, you know what? I don't want to get up, Coach G, and, I want to sleep, and it's summertime, and I'm on vacation right now, and you know what? I worked hard this week, or I put in a full day of work, or, I got a long day in front of me. I need to sleep as much as I can. And I'm telling you right now, all you're doing at that point in time is that you're making a bit of a cop-out that says you're willing to let the day meet you instead of you meeting the day. I mean, honestly, guys, you got to be ready for this kind of stuff. So now let's break this down. You're up, right? Day's gotten started. How do we start this day? Daily dominance happens. The second part of this, so you got to meet the day, and we're going to do daily dominance before life strikes. Guys, let's just be honest about it, right? If we woke up and you didn't address you, really, first off the day, right? And let's just say you do what most people do. You cut on the news. Maybe you're going to look at Facebook. Maybe you're checking out YouTube. Those would be my little go-to things in the morning, right? Maybe you're caught up with what? Your spouse. Maybe she woke you up to some information. Maybe you realize you got the kids. You guys are going to now, you heard the door go off, so probably have people walking past, but don't worry, we want to keep this show rocking right now. But what we got to look at this stuff is that we're letting life attack us before we get a chance to stake our claim. Again, don't forget what I said. This is about you attacking the day before the day comes to you. This is about you setting your standards before life comes to you and sets its standards. So what do I mean when life sets its standards? So there's some core areas here, right, that I want us all to be aware of, right? I hope you guys all can see this over here, right? But here's what we got, and I'll use a different color here so that you're fully aware of what we're working with, right? We have our body. We got our bonds. We got our business. And we got our being. This is essentially the four core areas that we got to operate within life. Like at the end of the day, if we know that we can get something accomplished in pretty much each area that moves the needle with just one thing, that should lead to a successful day for us. So before life strikes, well, here's the deal. If you do nothing with your body before life hits you, you're going to operate on life standards. I mean, you get a chance to walk out of your front door, you don't do nothing for your body, and then let's just say you hit a crack in the sidewalk or in the stairs leading out your home, and now you got a sprained ankle. So now what happens is that you begin to operate based on that standard of what life gave you, because that's what impacts you first. Right? Body is a big thing. That's why you guys see me sweating right now, because I make sure I want to really get that in, because I connect most when I get a chance to really explore my body in a mindful way. This isn't about me busting a sweat just to say, okay, look, I'm get all nice and diesel. This is about me operating mindfulness. You see, here, when I get a chance to operate with my body, before life interacts with it, I get to set the standard. I get to set how my mind is going to operate about tough places I have. Right? I mean, when I sit here and I struggle about being tired, when I struggle about whether the work's worth it, and this is all during the day, I get to establish that first thing in the morning just with my body. Second area, guys, are bonds. And I'm going to put an asterisk beside that, because that can mean so much to everybody here. I have wife, I have kids, I have family, I got parents, siblings, the whole nine. And a lot of times what happens is that our bonds will greet us. Now look, I'll talk personal with you guys, right? I have 3 wonderful kids. Like, these are the best kids in the whole world, but they're kids, nonetheless. And when they're kids and it's a dynamic where the parents are separated for whatever rationale, it's going to cause a little bit of, like adjustment periods that got to go into it, and also understanding where these roles are going to happen. And I got to tell you guys that my youngest son, love that man to death, but he knows sometimes he might be giving his mama the blues in the morning. So if you have children, if you're a dad, right, and you get that phone call, or your wife comes running in the bedroom and says, let me tell you what blah, blah, blah just did. Well, here's the deal now. Life just greeted me. So now the response I'm going to sit up here and give now, right out the bed, is that I'm already a little bit in my feelings now that the first interaction I got with my family is about how some child did something wrong. Secondly, now my interaction is going to be that, when I got to interact with my child, that it's not going to be how I necessarily wanted to start out. What does that mean? Like, I would love to wake up every day and do nothing but say, hey kids, I love you guys, have a great day. But when I allow life to impact me, and now I got to be like the disciplinarian. I got to be the person that is like, going to like shut it down and lay down the law kind of deal. Me doing that first thing at 7:30 in the morning, and then I got to follow that up with a I love you, doesn't resonate. I mean, men, think about it. Let's just be honest right now. Let's just say you had something great planned for your wife. You was going to leave out of the house. You was going to set up a great dinner. You was going to go and get flowers, roses, the whole nine, right? And then for whatever reason, maybe she had something happen at work during the day. The first instance you get a chance to interact with her, you get an attitude from her. For whatever reason. Life just happens. We talked about that right before life strikes. How willing are you going to be now to go through with these plans? And also, what's going to be your mindset as you go with it? It's not going to be the best, I guarantee it. That's why daily dominance is so important, for you to be able to establish the standards you want in life and not have life establish its standards for you. Same thing with business. Right? I mean, I had to learn this lesson a lot, particularly when it comes to us being able to, operate like as an entrepreneur. Like, it's one thing when you got a 9-to-5, to be frank. Like, you might have a set of to-do pieces in front of you, but when you're operating a business for yourself and you've never done it by your own at any point before, then you don't really know what you're doing all the time. So I got to figure out, what does that work look like for me? How is that going to translate for me, right? And what I realize is that here, I can get caught up doing 1,001 things if I don't attack first. I can have a client call me about a situation. I can have something going on with the email that I put out. I can get caught up in a whole other conversation. And by the time the day's gone, I haven't done anything really productive. Same thing with my being. Guys, when I talk about your being, what I'm speaking about is that part of you that comprises of like your spirituality as you define it. Your emotional health. How you want to be able to view it and how you want to be able to operate with it, right? All these different pieces is what interacts with you when we look at our being. I mean, heck, you may even look at how you interact with your hobbies at this point in time, right? All this is about you interacting with your being. So now we got our 4 areas. This is our 4 core areas we got right here. Your body, your bonds, your business, and your being. So now we look at it and say, how do we bring daily dominance into this? How do we make daily dominance happen right now with these 4 core areas? The first part about this, I gave it to you. You got to get up. And I want to be very clear about this, guys. Don't make the excuse. Make the sacrifice. I've heard it all. What do you mean get up, Coach G? I mean, I work the night shift and, by the time I come home, my kid's already gone kind of deal. My wife is already gone. Or my wife works this weird schedule that's so much different than mine. My wife has to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I don't got to get up until 7 o'clock, and my kids don't got to get up until like 7:30, 8 o'clock. Like, how am I supposed to operate these things? And it's about you sacrificing and getting up, period, point blank. That's what it is. If your spouse is up at 3 o'clock, I'm asking you to commit to something, a process that really only takes you no more than about 5 minutes of mindful behavior. Mindful action. And take the butt back to bed. That's fine. The bed will always be there. Your opportunity to be able to dominate your day, that's fleeting. Remember, guys, we talked about this last week. We talked about trust, right? And if you remember, the trust of an opportunity, this is what the opportunity is, to be able to dominate daily. So if that's the opportunity that's before you, got to understand that your opportunities are very fleeting. Like, they come quickly. They go quickly. So yeah, that 2:30 wake up, 2:30 a.m. wake up might be a struggle for somebody, but I'm here to tell you that once 2:30 leaves and your wife is gone at 3 o'clock, and then your wife ends up in a car accident or something happens on the road, well then where are you at then? And I don't want to wish the worst case scenario, but we got to be honest about this kind of stuff. Things happen in life. And you're sitting here making the decision that says, you know what? My personal comfort right now trumps me having to dominate my day. Trumps me being able to dominate my body, my bonds, my business, my being. That's all we're talking about. So again, we got to get uncomfortable. We got to strike life before life strikes us. We got to start attacking the day before the day can come into us. So let's talk about how this really is going to look. We got body, bonds, business, and being. And here's what I'm asking you guys to do. Nothing crazy. You're going to pick one thing. You're going to do one thing. That's it. Pick one thing, do one thing. So let's start it out, right? Let's start with, we'll make this easy because I love this one, bonds. Again, I told you guys, I got a wife, I got 3 kids, and on top of that, I got 2 sisters, I got a mom, I got a dad, I got a brother-in-law. Like, I got a lot of family that I consider pretty close. And what I want you to look at first, when you talk about your bonds, which ones are closest for you? Like, I'm not asking you to list every family member that you got right now. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm asking you to think about is those who are most central to your life. If that's your spouse and your children, great, it's your spouse and your children. If you ain't married and ain't got no kids, it might be mom or dad. It might be just a good friend. It might be the girlfriend that you have at that point in time. But you get to decide this. This isn't about you going in the day and your phone blowing up and everybody is pulling you in different directions. You make the decision on how you're going to be pulled. There's family that I don't even talk to anymore. And it's not done in a spiteful way. It's not done in a mean or arrogant way. But it is a way that lets me understand, again, as I put it up here before, my priorities. I love my family, but if we don't always, if they're not on the same direction that I am, then I got to be able to know that I can love you and still move away from you. But for those that are in the same direction I am, of course I get a message, I get a phone call right now. Hold on one second. These are the things that happens in my life. Alright, so we got that part done. Now what we're looking at, let's pick this up back to where we were still talking about our bonds, right? So again, we got all this family and friends around us, right? And we want to figure out how do we operate our bonds. Well, look, I made my list really simple. At first, my list was simply about my wife and my kids. So I said, what's the best way I can interact? And I got to tell you guys, I'm probably in a different situation than a lot of you guys are. For the better part of the year, I'm separated 400 plus miles away from my kids. I am. And my wife. So how do I dominate that connection right there with my bonds? What do? I make sure that I communicate before anything comes up. Like I said, my son might have a bad morning, and the first phone call that I get from my wife might be about correcting my son. So I had to change that, and I took the initiative in that. And I said, I'm not going to wait for the phone call to come to me. Instead, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to initiate it. And you know what? My wife, she doesn't wake up early. That is completely okay. Right? So what do? Am I mad that she doesn't wake up and can't answer the phone calls on time, or she might be half asleep at the phone calls? No, not at all. I make sure I communicate. I send out a text message. Guys, it's just that simple. I want you to find a way to mindfully connect to these areas in a way that it is easy to do, but that it makes an impact for you. So now, instead of me waiting for the phone call that will sound how I want it to sound, because let's just face it, man, that's how we are, right? Like, we want our boss to talk to us a certain way. We want our spouse, our children to speak to us a certain way. We want what? Our body to respond. Men, like, for what? You want your body to be like it was in high school, college kind of deal, right? I've yet to get back to that point in my life. But still, we want all these things kind of in the easy way. We almost want them to come and greet us, to meet us. It's not going to happen that way, guys. So I got to make sure my communication goes out first. And I'm not going to fret about it. This isn't me having to send out, and spend buku amount of money. I'm not sending edible arrangements every morning so that they know how much I love them. But I mindfully communicate that. I send out the text message. And on top of that, if I get the phone call in the morning that's about correcting my son or my daughter, my first response is, did you get my text message? You know what? I did get it. Thank you so much. Hey, sometimes it's going to be, I didn't get the text message, honey. Let me go back and read it real quick. Or, hey, honey, I got no problem talking to Isaiah, but I need for you to read him my message to him first. Because I'm going to control how that interaction is going to sound. That's my control. I'm not going to let life give me a situation that all of a sudden I can't control and I can't deal with. And I got to react to what life gives me. Guys, there's no power in that. There's no control. There's no choice in that situation. So pick one thing. Pick one way. Got 3 kids. All 3 of them know before they open their eyes, Dad has already said, I love you. And I'm not just talking about the walking past their room and you're like, hey, love your kids. Like, I'm in it because this is my moment. This is when I dominate this. So yeah, I'm walking up to my boys. Kiss on the cheek. I love you. I don't care if they wipe it off. They know what happened. My daughter, she's all hugs. Love you. Me and my wife, let's be frank about it, guys. We don't always see eye to eye. But again, men, this is what I'm asking you to step up and make that sacrifice, though. So what if you and your wife are going back and forth in a seesaw argument? It's probably been lasting you guys for a week, a couple days. And I mean, let's just go ahead and be honest about it. If you're really dealing with an exposure, a disclosure, or a discovery about a compulsive habit, well, then you guys are probably at it for months right now. And each of you all are sitting there saying, you know what? I need the other one to do something different so that I can respond differently. And what I'm asking you to do right now, because I'm talking to the men, is that I'm asking you to take that initiative to say, you know what? I'm going to do this differently. We've been going like cats and dogs for the past 5 days. But you know what? Before the day meets me, before that relationship impacts me how it has normally impacted me, I make the decision. Guys, you will not believe what you writing out a post-it note saying, I love you, have a great day, and leaving on her side of the bed will do for your marriage. You have no idea what a well-placed text message that is thought out will do for your marriage. You have no idea what getting up and making a cup of coffee in the morning when normally you would get up, throw a little random, take it for granted, peck on the cheek, and then you're out the door. But first, you got to make that choice. And secondly, you got to be willing to make that sacrifice when? Before life strikes. Before life strikes. So we talked about bonds, right? And even for me, that's what I do every morning. I send out a text message. Most of my family's not around me. But guys, trust, when they get my text messages, it is so crazy how it operates. Like, seriously, I know how I want my family connections to be. I got 2 sisters right now don't talk to each other. I'll take it a step further. When I first started communicating by text message with everybody, you know, I used to get messages that say, well, you know what, thanks for the messages that you're sending out, but can you not include A, B, and C? Or can you send me something separate? And it's like, wait a minute. No, this is for me. You don't get that luxury. This is about me dominating my day. This isn't about me helping you to dominate your day. No. You can change your phone number. I don't care. You can block the text message. Don't care. But this is going to be about how I choose to dominate my day. So, yep, mom, dad, they divorced. Same daggone text message. 2 sisters don't like each other. Same daggone text message. Me and my wife separated going on 5 years. Same daggone text message. And you know what happened? Like, my family may never all sit down at the same table for Thanksgiving ever. But the one time that I didn't send out a text message, I got both of my sisters calling me. Yo, what's going on? Everything okay? Are we doing okay? Are you okay? I didn't get my message this morning. Guys, it's about you dominating. You don't know the impact you have until you decide to dominate and not wait for the comfortable life to come to you. Right? So we talked about our bonds here, guys. Next up, guys, I want to jump to the body because people get this confused sometimes when we talk about daily dominance. When I talk about body, guys, I'm not talking about what you're doing in Gold's Gym, Planet Fitness, whatever the heck it's called, or whatever gym you go to. I'm not talking about you and your workout routine, about how you want to lose weight, gain weight, increase mass, build this record up in the whole 9 and improve your bench. That's not what this is about. Daily dominance is your first step into just simply being mindful. Again, that's about being present on purpose in the moment. Most important part, guys, is what? Without judgment. So now when I get to be with my body in the morning, guys, and I could be doing something as simple as, say, maybe 20 or 30 push-ups. It's about what am I thinking mindfully while I'm going through the process. Because I'm telling you, your mind is going to go all over the place. It's going to go everywhere from like, you know what, why the heck am I doing this? It's not here to build my body. Why am I even going to bother doing this right now? You know what? I can do 20, but I'm going to stop at 10. You know what? I can do 20, I'm going to do the 20, but I'm going to do the 20 half-ass. Or, you know what? I'm supposed to do 20. I can only do 10, but I guarantee that 10 is going to look like it's freaking 20. You see, that mentality right there, guys, I'm willing to bet whatever comes out right here, that's what operates your day. If you're a half-ass here, at some point in the day, you're going to be a half-ass about something else that you can get done. If you come right here and realize, you know what, you can't get it done and you just quit before you get started, I'm willing to bet somewhere in the course of the day, you're going to do the exact same thing. You're going to start something, you're going to not finish it, knowing good and well you could have got further even though you couldn't have completed the entire task. And we just decided to stop short. I guarantee whatever comes out of this right here, guys, is going to be so reflective of how you go about your day. Just in this one area right here. Again, I'm not talking about you going into the gym and throwing up some weight and benching and showing that you can bench 250, 300, whatever the case may be. I'm talking about your mind when none of that is present. You don't got other stuff around you. You don't got the influence of music around you. You don't got the influence of your peers working out around you, moving you. This is just about you. This whole thing, guys, is about you. Nobody's going to help you dominate your day. Trust me, if anybody's beside you while you're trying to dominate your day, best believe they're trying to get some part of you to help dominate their day. It's how it works. And you can't be upset about it. You got to know this and know that, okay, you know what? My boss, he wants me to dominate his day. So when we talk about business, I used to be the guy that would wake up every morning and I'm doing a great big to-do list about what I got to do with my job. Whether it was, sales or social services, it didn't matter. And I'm sitting there writing it down, like especially when I was in sales, guys. I mean, oh man, when I did sales, I was like, yep, I need to get 3 deals today. 3 here. Oh yeah, I talked to my boss. He wants to make sure that my crew comes in like this kind of deal. And here's the thing. He's going to push me because he's like, you know what? Yeah, George, I know you can get this and you can do this and you can set this benchmark. But best believe, he wants me to help dominate his day. I get more sales helps him to dominate his day. Does it impact mine? Absolutely. But not in the way that I needed to because I'm contributing to his day. When I talk about you having daily dominance around your business, I'll be honest with you guys. I'm probably for the most part not even talking about your 9 to 5 unless you have decided that is your ultimate passion. 90% of us work a 9 to 5 that we have no passion about whatsoever. And you go around life like that. Like you go to work just waiting to clock out. Think about that for a minute. You wake up, you go to work, someplace already has prepared a check for you, and you walking in there saying, I just came to know when it's time to go home. Guys, you're not dominating the damn thing like that. And again, your job knows it. Your job knows you're coming in there looking to get to the end of the day. And they're okay with that because they know that whatever little half-ass shit you're bringing to the office still helps them in some way to dominate their day. But guess what? If it doesn't, what happens to you then? Exactly. You're fired. You're done. Like, you think it's security, but it's not real security. You want to know how to have business security, guys? Right here. It's right here. It starts right here. And what am I asking you to do? I said one thing, right? Well, listen, if you work a 9 to 5 and you're passionate about it, I see my brother Russ is on here right now, and this brother can sing, preach like nobody's business. I think this is what he does like full time right now, right? So if you have that piece where you're just passionate about what you do day in and day out, very much like I am. This is what I do day in and day out, man. I'm obsessively passionate about connecting with men, building men, growing men. So if that's where the passion is, and it's in your 9 to 5, then I want you to think of one thing that helps you to move your needle. Not your bosses. They may overlap, but I want you to bring it to the table first. What's one thing you can do now that moves it? Now maybe your passion isn't a 9 to 5. Maybe you do the 9 to 5 because you just got to pay the bills, and I ain't mad at that. But what I do want you to get mad at yourself about is how you're potentially going to end up at this 9 to 5 for the next 20 to 25 to 30 to 35, maybe even 40 years of your life simply trying to pay a bill, and when you're done with it, you're like, well, what the heck next? You don't know where you're going to head to. So what I'm asking you to do now is say, well, now if you do the 9 to 5 and you're not passionate but it's paying the bills, every morning one thing with passion. Guys, look, I don't know. Maybe you want to start your own business. Am I saying you got to go out and find somebody to give you a loan for your business that morning? Not at all. But I am saying, look, have you thought of a name for your business? Do you know what industry your business is going to be in? Have you researched it? You know, I was talking with a lady not too long ago, and a big thing for her was just simply about she wanted to have a greenhouse. She wanted to also, another young lady, she wanted to be able to have like a kennel kind of situation set up in her home and everything. And here's the deal. When we worked together, they had none of that set up. Or they did, but it wasn't nowhere to the degree that they wanted it. And just thinking of one thing each day. One thing each day, both of these ladies now have exactly what they wanted. Both of these ladies are operating a kennel. They got the greenhouse going on. And it started with simply saying, before I get into my day, before my 9 to 5 hits and I come home and I'm dog tired and I can't do anything else anymore, what can I do now? What can I do? Nothing. At the end of the day, these ladies said every morning, one thing that I'm going to do. One thing that I am going to do. Scott. You're hitting it, brother. You're hitting it. Without enthusiasm and passion, life becomes stale. And I'm going to take it a step further. If you're dealing with a compulsive habit, and you're not dealing with something that brings you enthusiasm and passion in a healthy way that helps you dominate your day, you're not only going to relapse, but you're going to have the worst trouble ever just trying to stay free of that compulsive habit. I tell my guys all the time, you might hate what the habit brought around you, but if you think that that thing didn't bring you some level of enthusiasm, of passion, of pleasure, and you think you can get rid of that and not replace it with something equally or greater than, you're lying to yourself. You guys are going to walk around looking like Joe versus the volcano in the first half of the movie. I'm probably dating myself right now. You know, if you guys are anyway, like if you're like 20 and under, you have no idea what I'm talking about right now. But for some of the old heads out there with me, you guys remember Joe versus the volcano. He just woke up, walked around, had every issue going on in his life, right? Boss gave him crap, no relationships, sick all the time, was ready to die. He had no enthusiasm, no passion, no direction, no way to dominate his life until he found out he was going to die. Last part, and I'm going to come back to death, guys. Your last part here is your being. And as I told you guys before with your being, it's going to include a couple things. You know, it's your spirituality, however you define it. Emotional check. And I like even including here hobbies. So when we talk about what's my spirituality, and also here, with the emotional check, it's really about like meditation. So what are we talking about right now? Spirituality, guys, this is how you define it. I'm a Christian. Not ashamed of it, very proud of it. Alright? But however you define spirituality is how you define it for you. I don't care if it's Jesus, it's Buddha, it's Muhammad, it's Allah. Look, whoever you decide that you direct that to, and you might not believe in a higher power. You might believe in some inner part of yourself you have yet to get in contact with. But whatever that is, you got to find a way to mindfully connect to that every day. Every day. Every day, I'm in my Bible. I don't care if it's just a verse or two, and I pull something out of that. That's for me. Did you hear what I just said? A verse or two. I'm not talking about reading half the daggone book. A verse or two. Look, if you wanted to really kick it up a notch when it came to your being, you get a book. 10 pages a day. If you really want to kick it up a notch. But you get to define this, guys. Your emotional check-in when you get a chance to do your meditation. I'll be honest with you guys. I'm probably the guy whose mama should have had him diagnosed with like ADHD, ADD, and whatever else is out there right now that make kids not focus all the time. What they say is out there. I don't know if it's even real or not. But please know, I'm pretty sure if I would have got tested for something that for one of them things, I'd be sitting here dealing with those pills as well. Thankfully, my mama ain't do that. But all that to say is that when I gotta sit down and I'm doing my morning meditation, guys, my brain is like categories. And that's okay. It really is. It's okay for me to experience that in a mindful way. To look at the clutter that I wake up with every morning and not try to shut it off, but to let it operate its course and say, you know what? Let me let this run its course. Let me see how much of this I can let just go. Now, my meditation might not last any more than 2-3 minutes. But that's for me that day. Mindfully, I knew I got to do that. And here's the deal. Just like with my body, if I can put in work here and complete it at a great pace, I can do the same thing during the course of the day. Same thing here with our being, guys. If I can put in 30 seconds to 2 minutes of mindful meditation and bring a calm to my inner being and let my mind get rid of some of these, sporadic, chaotic thoughts, I can do that again throughout the course of the day. If I initiate it with my bonds in the morning, my love, my care for them, I can do that at any point in the day, guys. With my business, if I'm able to look at one thing and identify one thing that helps me to move the needle in the beginning part of my day, man, we can do this any time of the day. I'm asking you to let it begin in the morning. That's why I want you to let it begin. I want you guys to really let it take hold for you in the morning. We're running a little bit late today, guys, and I'm sorry about it. But one last thing I'm going to give you before I rock out of here, guys, is that a lot of you all know, I used to wrestle when I was in high school, right? And I'll never forget, there was a brother, I say brother, he was my wrestling brother. His name's Chris Ferris. So, brother, if you happen to catch his feed, I'm going to give you a credit. Rush, you already know who I'm talking about right now. But this brother here, man, we was on a wrestling team, and again, things can get looked at so differently. There are people who get on the wrestling mat, and you got to understand that each round in wrestling, like real wrestling, I'm talking about your WWE stuff, guys, okay? When I'm talking about real wrestling, it's really only this. You got 2 minutes a match. Well, 2 minutes a round. 3 rounds, 2 minutes tops. And here's something I learned in wrestling that helped me to understand what mindfulness was at an early age that didn't really sink in until later when I had to learn more about mindfulness. My man Chris Ferris, I'll never forget, we was in practice one day, and I think we was kind of drag-assing it. We wasn't putting our all out. And I never forget how I don't remember how the topic came around. But when Chris spoke, I remember Chris telling me this. He told the whole group this. He says, look, at the end of the day, when we step on the mat, we got to give 2 minutes of our life. Not 2 play around minutes, guys. Not 2 minutes I'm going to give back some point in time. And if it's a full, 3 rounds, that's 6 minutes of our life. And we get to decide what the value of that's going to be on the mat. Win, lose, or draw. I got 2 minutes to go out here and dominate. Does it mean that I got to be stronger than the man on the mat across me? No, it don't. But at the same time, if I felt a little bit of pressure from my body, right? And I knew I can still go on and fight through it, what am I going to do? Do I give in? I've been there. I've done that. Or do I fight through? That's when the payout really came. When I realized that it's 2 minutes of my life. You got to think about that, man. 2 minutes of your life. If somebody had to come and take a 2-minute snapshot of your life, what does that look like? Are you dominating it? Are you in control? I don't care if your back's on the floor. I don't care if you're feeling pent up and pressed out right now. But are you dominating at that moment? Here, not out here all the time. Are you dominating here? You see, once we learned this and Chris broke that down and we finally adopted it, guys, it wasn't about the losses anymore. It was about looking back at the match, win or lose, and say, that's 10 seconds I didn't go all out. That's 5 seconds I did not go all out. I don't care if I stuck this dude in the first 20 seconds of the match. It was 2 seconds I can watch in the tape that shows where I'm just sitting here half-assing it. I can't get that back. I need you guys to know that. So listen, guys, daily dominance. We want to dominate the whole day. I'm asking you guys just to get started with your mornings. And know that if you get it done in the morning, you can get it done at any point in time in the day. Listen, guys, that's Coach G. I love you guys. Remember, as always, get in contact with me if you want any help with daily dominance in your life. 443-600-9169. Shoot me an email. Drop a message after the video. Doesn't matter, but at the end of the day, you know I love you guys. And most importantly, kick ass. Peace.